Hello. How you guys doing? We are doing something new tonight, and we want to do this kind of more regularly. You may have noticed that I am a little inconsistent, to say the least, with my Agora updates, and those Agora updates were really just only going on the Agora site. And something always irked me about them. There's something I didn't really like about them, and it wasn't until recently that I think I fully realized that what I didn't like is that they weren't interactive enough. They were meant to be able to always give everybody a little bit of an update as to things that have been going on. Often it started as just like updates to the platform, like what kind of new features are there and like how do you use them. And to be honest with you, I don't like doing them by myself. And so I didn't enjoy doing them very much. I thought they just felt kind of like, I don't know, they lacked a certain energy that I prefer to have when I have that energy when I'm actually live, but I'm not as energetic when I'm recording something in my dark studio by myself. And also it didn't really provide a back and forth because we want to put ideas out there, some new cool things that have just happened, things that are on the horizon, but where's the, hey, how do you feel about that? And hey, what are you looking for as Agorians? Like what is it that, do you have any questions about the update? So, this I feel is going to be a better format, and it's also really cool because I can bring in someone who is really good at this kind of stuff, and that's Scott. So I thought that we could turn this into a conversation, make it a little bit more dynamic and have fun with it, and leave a little room in the Q&A as well. So Q&A will remain, because we don't get a lot of questions on the Q&A about the Agora site itself, which is interesting, but it doesn't seem like the right forum for it. I think people just they're itching to just get a bunch of their animation questions and their career questions answered, things that didn't get answered on streams previous, or things that are just in their minds right then and there. So the Q&A thing has become its own thing, which I think is interesting, and we want to run with that. That's awesome. But it means that where's the servicing to to the community itself? How do we make it grow? Where should it go? All these kinds of wonderful sort of thoughts and ideas. That is what this is all about. And so we're modeling it after a lot of other developer like update streams where you have like a community manager essentially sitting down with developers and talking a little bit about the website itself and how did we make it and like how do we make it go and like what else is coming and why does it not do this, and basically just have that kind of a conversation. So Scott will act sort of almost like as your ambassador as it were, but you're here too, so you can feel free to ask the questions. But yeah, I think this is gonna be fun. So let's bring in Scott, and then we're gonna kind of just jump into it. Hello, Scott.
Oh, hi, Brent.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I see David do that every Q&A and the conversation with. I love it. I just feel like it's the normal way to come in now.
It is. It would be weird. Yeah. It would be weird to not do that. Welcome back to the show. It was awesome to have you at that Q&A not so long ago, and so it's amazing that we get to have you on again. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that Q&A. Yeah,
me too. Okay, so I don't know where do we start. I think that we have a bunch of things on the agenda, and just to let everyone know that this is a bit of a prototype, so we're going to try this out. What I'm hoping we're going to do is we're going to cover a bunch of things that we want to cover. I wanted to then have some room for Q&A, and then Scott and I are going to do this like machine gun rapid sort of like recap on the things that we did. So that might be fun in itself. See how quickly we can, or how not quickly we can do that. The reason behind that is I want this to be fun live, but I also want it to be very informative for people who couldn't make it. And people might not want to sit through like an hour-long conversation about a bunch of things. They might just want like the Coles notes or the Cliff's notes or what do you have in Australia? We have what's called Coles notes here. I use this all the time, this expression. I always forget that nobody knows what I'm talking about unless you're Canadian.
I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, so you probably have something for sure. So basically, it's Coles is a bookstore in Canada. Cliff's is a bookstore in the States. And what they both became famous for is making these condensed versions of novels. So for high school students, especially, if they didn't have time to read the whole novel, they could read the Cliff's Notes or the Coles Notes version, which was really just a quick like essay about the actual novel, which is meant to cover most of the main plot points and all the other things and abstractions and all, so it's supposed to make things a little faster. Some people, the brown noser, you guys have something like that in Australia?
Well, I've heard of Cliff Notes, but I didn't realize it was a bookstore.
Yeah,
and Coles over here is a supermarket chain.
Oh, really? Okay, so that would make no sense at all. So basically, the cheat sheet, I guess, for the night is what we're going to do in this little compressed ending. And you guys don't have to stick around for it. We're going to do it anyways while we're running live. So we have a recording we just clip out and then drop on social media, and then we can always point to the long version if there's something of interest in there that someone watches and like, oh man, I want to know more about that. They can watch the whole video. So basically, that's what tonight's video is the stream is going to look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you want to start with?
Animates, Woolies and Coles. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
And
nice.
Foodland.
Now you guys are having like this is a private. We should have like exactly, because you guys have like a little private club.
Okay.
So I don't know what do you want. Let's start with some things that are on your list, and then we'll kind of get into things that are on my list.
Yeah, no worries. So one of the biggest things that behind the scenes I've been sort of planning out is a podcast, which is essentially going to be conversations that we have with industry experts, our Q&As, just in podcast form, because let's face it, like video can chew through people's data. And if you're on the bus or the train going to work, or, if you're just sitting at work, then it's definitely something that you can pop on. And within that, I'm going to take sort of those content of the day clips that you're seeing. So shorter versions, I'm going to be reducing those down and putting them on the podcast as well. So you've got like 2, 3, 4, 5 minute little chunks of information to start your day off. Yeah. So that's one of the big things that I've been working on.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I like this idea because it's because a lot of those shows, they work really well as podcasts because that's all they are. It's a conversation. We don't have any audio visual. We don't have any visuals usually. It's usually just hopefully a good conversation. So it's just yet another way for you to maybe get caught up on some of these conversations. If anybody in chat right now has not been to any of those conversations, I would highly recommend them. They are not your typical conversation. We set out to make conversations that would be appealing to people well beyond just animators. I think people that just are creatives in general, I think, could all take a piece of advice or two from some of these conversations. And there's some really good stuff that comes up. And the guests have been so amazing at just pouring their heart out and just telling people like what it's like to like what they've been through. And I think the hope there is that we can maybe learn collectively from that experience as opposed to having to sort of face it on our own, because God knows there's a lot of things that are, not easy to navigate in this industry, right? That we've chosen.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice. Yeah.
I was rewatching the Ted T conversation with just the other day, and things got honest in that one.
It totally
really got honest.
Yeah, I know.
It's like almost to the point that it was scary, but don't be scared.
I know. Christine, she was watching it and she told me that the exact same thing. She's like, you guys were sometimes asking questions, and I'm just like, I was nervous because they seemed so personal and it's just funny to think that because I think now some conversations are going to be even more intimate because we know personally some of the guests, most of the guests we've had on, we have at least either David or I know them well, there's a couple of people coming on the show soon. Troy Quain, for instance, he is a friend of mine from way back in Toronto. I actually house sat for him once when he was away with his then girlfriend, who's now he's married to. Actually, I think they were just girlfriend boyfriend back then, but it doesn't really matter. The point is, I knew him pretty well back then. I haven't really been able to hang out with him since that much because he disappeared into the sort of the California landscape, and he is now he ended up co-directing spies in disguise. So, it's so, I mean, like, we knew each other way before all of that big fame, and it's just sort of, it'll be interesting to have those that conversation. Same with John Hoffman. He is head of he was head of story on Luca that just dropped out of Pixar. And so, so these are some pretty influential people in the industry, but like, it's like, for me, they're just friends, I'm lucky enough to have, cause I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. So naturally, I mean, your buddies from college become, at some point, a lot of them are going to become pretty big names in the industry often.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So that's why these things sometimes, luckily, that's kind of our is we wanted them to feel like just like flies on the wall where, we could talk, we can have real, like, absolute legitimate conversation about real things rather than just glossing over it. So yeah, they make great podcasts. So
yeah. Well, that's what I love, because I was watching an interview the other day with a book author, and the people asking the questions were more so students.
Yeah.
And they didn't have that ability to connect with what their guest was saying and run with it. It was like he dropped something like really interesting, and they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, good. And how do you feel about some completely unrelated thing?"
Exactly.
It's like, wow, like you just missed a gold mine.
That was
right?
golden. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, if we've, and that's the other thing, right? Is because David and I have also been doing this for a while. So naturally, there will be a little bit more of a natural tendency to kind of relate a little bit better to some of the things that are being said, which does make it a more natural conversation and less of an interview. Because that's the last thing we want these to feel like, is an interview, because that's really not what we set out to do. So
exactly.
But that's good. So a podcast, something to look forward to. Would you got something else on your list? Or you want me to take a turn?
You can go for it.
Sweet. So I made a promise a week ago, and in the many weeks before that, I made a promise before that, and then before that, I get another promise, and I kept breaking that promise, and I apologize. The truth is, I was really trying to do something big and grandiose, and there was just too many things on my plate, and then it was just the day to day and the week to week, just process of getting new content out there. It just kept getting pushed. So what I'm referring to, as some of you probably already know, is the Anim Bingo. Anim Bingo is something that I really enjoyed, and some of you in the chat probably also enjoyed. And it's also some of you in chat I owe some prizes to. And it's annoying and obnoxious that it's taken so long, but we're going to do it. And I'm announcing it finally. I've given up on the big grandiose plan, and we're just going to move forward and have fun with it regardless. And I'm officially launching tonight the competition for the logo. So we'll be dropping this on social as well. I have a Google form I'm going to link to in a second. If you're interested, and you don't have to, you do not have to have been part of the Anim Bingo experience, not even once. If you saw the videos and thought it was cool, it sounds like cool right now, just listening to it. Say you have a bit of a design background, maybe you don't even, doesn't really matter. You don't have to be a professional to do this. Anything goes. You need what we're looking for are logos, and I'm using it now as a way to also rekindle and to rejuvenate the idea of Anim Bingo content, because I'd like to bring it back. So I think I'm going to be using this particular competition or contest, whatever you want to call it, the logo contest for the t-shirts as a gauge just as to how interesting this might be for people. I think I'm going to bring it back anyways, but I think it'd be a fun kind of way to sort of launch the rekindling, the Anim Bingo phoenix being born back out of its ashes to bring it back. So basically, the contest goes a little like this. You need to design a logo that we will be putting on t-shirts and stickers, which are the prizes. And the logo absolutely just needs to somehow visually encompass your feeling of what Anim Bingo was. Ideally, the word Anim Bingo would have to be in there somewhere, because it would be weird for it not to be. So you should incorporate the name Anim Bingo, and you get extra points if you can somehow incorporate some of the guests somehow into that. I thought that would be kind of fun. It's not a mandatory thing. The best logo is going to win, but I just think that would be pretty cool.
And you can't just draw one prep mother and then duplicate. You have to draw both of them.
Exactly.
There's
don't cheap
no
out.
Shortcuts.
Don't cheap out. But if you do that for whatever reason, don't ever tell the Pratt brothers who is the original one. It might start a feud that will never end. So I think it might be best to just keep that one to ourselves. So that's it. So their Google form, you'll have to add your name, your first name, and your last name, and your email. And then there's a submission. You can submit directly to the form. It needs to be under 10 megabytes, which should be super, super possible for an image. So, sorry for the Leonardos out there. If you wanted to give me your biggest opus that's in 32-bit, it's just, if we need something higher res, if for whatever reason, then, we'll contact you and ask you for the original. It's not a big deal. Right now, I just need a preview of it. You'll drop it, and then we're going to be I don't know how long we'll make this competition. I'd like to make it at least a week to get it out there. So, or more than a week, probably be 2 weeks. So people have time to put it together. But yeah. And then we'll make the call eventually. We'll give lots of people lots of notice as to when the gates are going to close on it. And we will, what my plan is to bring it back to the community. So the community votes on it. I don't think it should be us. I think it'd be fun if the people, you all have a say in what that logo is. The logo, once chosen, we are going to print the shirts, print the t-shirt, the stickers, get them out to the winners. And yeah, even if you were not part of the Anime Bingo experience, like I said, if you are the winner of the contest for the logo, you get one as well. We'll send you out a t-shirt and a sticker for your contribution. So that's it in a nutshell. If you just give me a second, I'm just going to get the link. It's just, I didn't have it ready here. Let me just grab it.
No worries.
And linky is right here.
What would just people in the chat, if we were to bring back the Anime Bingo, we were kind of discussing maybe we could grab some demo reels from the internet, or what kind of stuff would you want to see?
Exactly. There's so many ways we could, what kind of, it doesn't have to be coming from some big ultimate challenge. The Anime Bingo was fun just because it gave us something fun to do while discussing animation, right? Like, it's really, that was the point. Make it interactive, make it so that it made sense for you to show up to a stream. So it wasn't just like because otherwise you just watch the recording of it. If it was just a conversation about the animation. Okay, here it comes. Shorten the URL so it's not gigantic. Okay, here we go. 1 second.
Yeah, that's a good one, Crab Nuts.
What has he got?
He said we could try it on the Sunday reviews. I was thinking that as well.
Good idea. Totally good idea. Incorporate the live reviews. So there's, I wouldn't want to do it every time because there's a bunch of logistics that, we got to the point where it was a pretty well-oiled machine by the end. If you compare the first episode to the last episode, it was night and day. But that's kind of the Agora way. We got an idea that sounds exciting. We try it, even if it hasn't been perfected. We don't want to overanalyze it, and then we kind of perfect it as we move forward. That's your link right there. So you heard it here first. You'll be the first one to have access to that link. I'm sure you don't have a logo ready yet. If you do, then you're amazing. But whatever, you can send that to your friends.
Information from the inside somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's a mole somewhere. I don't know who it is. So yeah, exactly. So if you don't mind, spread that around your own network of friends that enjoy the Anime Bingo and whatnot. By all means, anyone has access to it. You do need to have to make the upload work. You need a Google account. That kind of sucks a little bit. I was hoping for a way that didn't mean that you needed to log into Big Brother. I'm a big Google fan myself, so I'm not really much of a conspiracy theorist when it comes to companies having your email address. I drank the Kool-Aid a long time ago, but you could always make a bum address and that you don't even use, just so you have a Google account to do it. Sorry for that. I really wanted to do it a better way, but this is the most elegant, most simple way of getting it out there. So that's what we decided to do.
Yep. Beautiful.
Okay. So that's it. That's my news. Your turn.
That's it. My turn.
I have more news, but it's your turn. Yeah.
We're taking turns.
Yeah.
We will be getting ourselves out there on TikTok. It's been something on my list to do for quite some time. I've been focusing mainly on kind of the main ones that we have going, where we just feed our information and we've started doing the quotes from the live streams that we have. But TikTok is definitely something that's been on my list to look at. Again, I wanted to turn to the community and just ask, what are you guys looking at on TikTok? What do you find? Would you look for information more, or you guys just want to have a laugh on TikTok? Like, it's a beast that I've yet to kind of unwrap fully. So yeah, but I think we could have some fun with it.
Yeah, like if you have some ideas, and speaking of ideas, and I think this is something we were going to talk about tonight in general, but I think we should, we've been wanting to do this for a while, have good mechanism for suggestions. If you do have ideas like this, you can always email us. There's a contact on the Agora community site, and we see a lot of people using it. Sometimes it's people asking questions, sometimes it's people that have an issue with the content, and sometimes every once in a while we get these ideas, which are awesome. So that is the most sure way of doing it now. You can also, put some of these ideas out on social in replies. Scott's usually watching those.
Send me a message.
Yeah, absolutely. So use your, we don't have a robust way of collecting feedback and suggestions yet. So continue to use those ways until we have something better. But yeah. So speaking of the TikTok, so I think basically the question is, what kind of content, what kind of animation related content do you think would be particularly awesome on TikTok? We have our own ideas and thoughts, really quick, fun little tips would be really cool. I always thought that a good series would be Maya tricks, things that would blow your mind, things you didn't know about Maya. It's you thought you knew Maya until, and then someone just blows your mind and shows you this hotkey that does all the things. It's a magical hotkey that glows golden when you press it. That would be kind of cool probably, but we're curious what you're thinking as well. So if if you have an idea now, throw it in chat. If you have an idea that kind of dawns on you later on, then send us a mail or send Scott a message directly.
Yeah. Thanks, V, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, there's a couple of people. What I think is particularly cool. Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, because we can tap into a lot of the Agora studio animators who are veteran animators all over the world. They're, just by asking them, we can get a bunch of cool tips and tricks, because if you've been doing it for a long time, you got some tricks up your sleeve for sure. I'm one of my favorite ones, just to kind of whet everyone's appetite that people don't seem to know much about, which is, it always blows my mind that people don't know, but it makes sense because it's not really well documented. Did you know in Maya that you can middle click and drag out of the outliner from a light, for instance, and then you could look through the light so you can aim it? Did you know that? You could turn a light like a camera. It's just temporary, allows you to use it so you can see what the light sees. It's particularly useful for spotlights, because then obviously you can better aim it. So little things like this are lifesavers sometimes when you're doing these little things. You just need to be able to do them quickly. So rapid fire demos, exactly, Tabitha. It's just yeah, there you go. See, you got one tonight already. We should have had this on TikTok.
Yeah. Back time to cut this clip up and use it next week.
Yeah. Well, I think what would be really cool is, that would be that my instinct is to always, when we're doing things like this and we're going to gather some interesting ideas for tips and tricks, is to go to, like I said, go to our army of freelancers that we have access to. But I would also think it would be cool to put out there for tips and tricks for you guys could record yourself doing one and send it to us, and we can we can spotlight you and your cool tip for the week, and then get them on TikTok even. We can make a whole collection of them, tips and tricks from the communities. That way, I mean, it's what the whole community was supposed to be about in the first place, right? Is we're all learning together. I love learning from you, because this is the thing that I love so much about teaching, is I always learn so much from the people that I'm teaching on a regular. So it'd be cool to put it out there. And I mean, a lot of you out there have just as much experience than me, some of us. I know that there's people that are watching us that are they've been around for a long time, and they've found the community because they just like being a part of what we're building. So
yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
I guess my turn. All right. So the next thing I wanted to say is I have a little bit of an update. Let me just write down the last one. I'm writing these down as I go, so we can do the rapid fire
at the end.
Yeah, exactly. So the last one was TikTok. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to do is, it's a quick demo of our platform. I wanted to show you a new feature that dropped last week that I was going to make an announcement about, but I figured I'll just hold off until we do this week. So let me show you. Demo time. We need a special drum roll for demo time. Here, hold on. This one's for this. This is for.
Oh, you've got it there.
This is for Veronica. Demo time. All right, so we're gonna go and grab my trusty screen share here. 1 second. Bring it up. Hold on. The safest would be to just share my screen, I think. I apologize in advance. I'm using a really wide monitor, so this might not be super clear. I didn't really think this one all the way through, but it should be okay. Okay. Let me know if you do in fact see my screen. Oh no, I haven't put it up yet. One sec. We'll do this.
There
I
we
think
go.
this should be good. Yeah, I'll do this. I even down here at the bottom.
That's
All right. So you should see my my desktop and all the clutter things in my taskbar, embarrassingly. What I wanted to show you is this. So before, back in the day, we wanted to do proper searching, and it was a pretty big undertaking. And we're going to continue. Obviously, the searchability of the content on our platform is key to accessibility and to enjoy and to be able to find the things you're looking for. So it's something we're going to be continually working with. There's no doubt. This is something we're always going to be expanding. And but it's ironic, and it confused people for a while. They're like, why does the search not already just include, like, I can just put in some text? Like, why? And there's reasons. So what we try to do is come up with a way that felt kind of fun and organic as a way of searching content. And that was cool, but we always knew that we needed to eventually put something a bit more advanced. You can find the search tools up here in the library. So if you just hover over the library and then wait for a second, half a second, it'll come up with one of these, this sort of banner thing here. And this is where we traditionally were accessing it. We had a bunch of categories we could actually surf, but there were also tags we could click on. Okay. And there's like you could also just see the whole list of all the tags right there if you pull down this little pull down menu. So you could see something like, Sir Wade, and click on it. And what happens here is anytime Sir Wade was tagged in content, it would be feeding back all the videos that has Sir Wade. And there's quite a few of them because we have a lot of his videos from his own site, as well as stuff he's done for us. So there's a lot of stuff in here. But what was cool is, and a lot of people probably don't know this, David is famous for loving this. He's so excited about this one thing that he loves doing, which is when you're looking for stuff on the platform, you do this little, it's like I don't know, how does he describe it? It's like going down rabbit holes, I think is what he always says. It's like every time you hit a tag, you can then go, it's, how, I don't know if you're like me, but David and I, we talked about this a lot back in the day about how we love how YouTube has these very simple, natural, intuitive gratification things that happens. For instance, you load up YouTube and you right away, it's got a feed of a bunch of relevant things because it populates that feed with things that you're subscribed to, as well as things that it knows about, like based on what it knows about you and your browsing habits. These are things that I'm going to suggest, which is cool because there's a mix of things that they know for sure you're going to want and a bunch of things that they're taking a guess on. Every once in a while, there'll be this random thing that's in there and I find myself clicking on it. And then I find in the comment sections, everyone going, let me guess, you're all here because it was in your feed, right? And everyone's like, yeah, what the hell? But yet there we all are clicking on it. So obviously Google knows us better than we know ourselves. So what we wanted to do is get the same kind of thing. And by the way, to complete this was something that David and I always do. We just hit the reload. Just hit reload and that page refreshes with more stuff that you can kind of click on. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted the sort of the searchability of our platform to have kind of almost that gamey kind of way of just browsing, kind of like you got maybe half an hour to kill and you want to see what kind of content's on there. So then you could kind of go down the rabbit hole of just clicking on, oh, there's another tag, Run Cycle. Oh, there's Richard Lico. Okay. He was somehow loosely associated with the previous tag. And now I'm going down a Richard Lico rabbit hole. And it just sort of takes us on this cool, like, journey through our website of all this. Like, we have a lot of content now. There's a lot on there. And so it's a fun way to just sort of like, I mean, we're not like YouTube. YouTube has an infinite amount of data where we have an impressive amount of data. Now, the news. So this is not news. It might be news to some of you that you can browse a site like this, which is definitely fun. I have lost myself many hours doing this. But the other thing that you can do now is over here in advanced search, you can put in strings now. But let me show you a couple of the things that we've added. So let's type in me because I'm on there somewhere. And so what it's doing now is it is doing what you'd expect. It's actually using my name, searching it with the metadata, the title, like the string title of the video itself, along with other things. I think even the tags are also kind of getting wrapped up in the search. Mm-hmm. But it's what you'd expect it to be. So it's it doesn't, which is interesting because there should be way more in there. So there's I think something that I don't fully understand about the way it works. But basically, if you go in here under control, you can up here in this banner here, you can actually further filter your searches. So let's just say you put in Brent, but you're like, okay, but I also want it to be only the reviews. Okay, and then say apply. So now it's only, I see there's definitely something up. So maybe that I might be discovering bugs. So that's interesting. This is very, very, very new, and there's a reason why we might not have caught all the bugs yet, because not everyone's been using it. But basically, this should be showing everything with Brent George in there, in the title somewhere, and but only reviews. But you can continue to sort of drill down on that. I could also, for instance, it could be assets. There should be no Brent George assets. If I'm for sale or for giveaway on the site, I'm going to be pretty surprised. But you know, I do get the basic idea. So I'm not going to over explain this. By all means, take a look at it. Let us know how you feel. If you do kind of have some, I'm going to be talking to Pat tomorrow about this, because obviously, I mean, I did the test a little while ago, but I didn't use my name. I used, I think I used JD Haas, and everything seemed fine. So there's something in here that seems a little off in my mind, but there you go. Now you guys can play with it. If you see similar things and you're kind of confused with the way it's working, then let us know, and we'll fine tune it as we move forward.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. So like I said, it's new. It'll improve, and we're going to continue to invest in the searchability. One of the things we really wanted to do for the searchability, for sure, is we really wanted to do, and we will do a way of helping the search, because, like, again, YouTube knows who we are and what we like, because we've commented on and liked other videos in the past, and we've watched a certain number of minutes of certain types of content. So we want to be able to do, I mean, we're not Google, so we don't have the kind of R&D division that they have naturally, but we do want to kind of add some sort of features to help, suggest what you might want to look at. So you'll have like a feed one day where it'll be driven in a similar way based on your sort of search habits, so you can discover new things that you didn't even know that you were missing until you've discovered it with our little algorithm, hopefully, and maybe a couple of surprises along the way. Yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
I don't know. I like V says the dangers of usability testing live.
Yeah, I know.
Like a Windows 10 launch.
I did check it. I didn't know. I just didn't try my name. I should have went with what I checked before, but it doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not really worried about it, because it does work. And it obviously doesn't work exactly the way I thought it did. And we'll get to the bottom of it some one way or another.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Really cool.
Yeah. So your turn.
All right. Is this where I can talk about my wish list?
Yes, sure. Now's a perfect time to do it.
Excellent. So there's certain things that I've been thinking of that I'd like to see on the site, and I've been looking into. So there's this website that's part of the Internet Archive, and it's called Open Library. And essentially, it's just books that you can check out for an hour. It's kind of like a real library. Once you've checked it out, no one else can kind of look at it. You can't download them from what I've seen. But I thought it would be amazing on the website, because we can embed these books. So from Open Library, you could be on the Agora website, and we'll just have like an actual book library. Because I can't remember. It was in that Q&A that we did, Brent, where we were talking about some awesome books that people should be getting, like dynamic life drawing and stuff like that. Exactly. Like, so suggested reading. Books are online for free anyway. Like I can't see any reason why we can't just embed them for people to check out. Yep. No, I agree. I totally agree. Yeah. I think that would be amazing. And another thing, now I haven't spoken to anyone about this, but just recently I've kind of discovered Alexa skills. Have you heard of those? Yeah. So, you'd be like, hey, Alexa, what's the weather? Or hey, Alexa, what time is that pub open? I'm more of a Google guy myself, so I'm doing a lot of the, hey, you know what? I don't get all my devices are going to answer me if I say it. So, but yeah, same thing. Yep. But yeah, so, there's courses out there on how to build these skills. And I think it would be amazing if Agora had one somewhere down the line, whereas hey, Alexa, what's my animation tip for the day? Or, oh yeah, that'd be such a good idea. What's the content of the day? And we can use the podcast, clips that we're using and stuff like that. That's a freaking awesome idea. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. I wonder, I'd be curious to what goes into that. Like, is that easy to do? Like, how do you officially have your skill? Like, can you develop a skill and just add it to the platform? Like, I assume if you're a developer, you can, because I mean, that's pretty much what you're usually seeing. The skills are usually associated to developer accounts, right, for their products. Yeah, exactly. So you need a developer account. And like I said, there's Udemy courses that I've been looking at just out of interest for myself. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's like a little bit of JavaScripting and things like that, but
Okay.
it teaches you how to build these things. So
That's
I don't
cool.
think you
I
need
like
to be
this.
like a programming wizard to be able to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So okay, so what would you so those two things, you would put them under what category? What would you say to sum up that? It's in the category of, because it was the Alexa, like the wish list. Yeah. So like this was your wish list essentially, right?
This is just some ideas that I've been having. Like, just how freaking cool would that be? You know, my mind's always
pretty cool.
Ticking over like that. It's like, man, wouldn't that be amazing? Or how can I use that for this? And
yeah, exactly. And so going back to the idea of suggestions, if you have suggestions for the site that are on your wish list, then don't be shy. Send them our way. You know, the one sure way to not have it ever become a reality is by not saying anything. But if you actually let us know, you know, we have a pretty long, what I'd like these to turn into at some point is like, we can actually even like expose the roadmap a little bit, you know, and talk, like, let people kind of see behind the scenes as to what we're actually currently working on, what's next on the list. And maybe with, you know, with a little bit of feedback from the community, maybe some of those things that are next on our list isn't just like us thinking that that's the best next thing. Maybe it can be a little bit more community driven, you know, like take a vote every once in a while. What's the next feature that you all see? Like, here's a bunch of choices that are viable options. Like, what would you choose? And then like, let it happen. And that way you'll feel like you're helping contribute towards the actual building of the platform itself, which would be cool. I think that would be really cool.
Which is why it's called Agora.community.
That's right. It's very, very, very good. I like the way you brought it back. So what's on my next on my there's another thing on my list. So this is more of a kind of a reminder that there is a new segment that happens on Sunday nights at 10:30 p.m. If you haven't heard, what we're doing is something that I've been doing for quite a while for my own little community. I'm bringing that whole experience to the Agora platform, and that is free public reviews over stream. So you join. The way it works is every Sunday night, Scott drops a sign-up sheet, and if you want to be have your work reviewed the following Sunday, then just sign up. And I think is it Wednesdays you do the cutoff?
Thursday nights. Yep.
So there's that Thursday night, and then there's a cutoff, and then we randomly choose, like, pull a name out of the hat for 3 people that will actually that we're going to get reviewed. And we did that last Sunday for the first time, and it went really well. It was a lot of fun. And then, you know, if you don't get picked that week, then just try again and just continue to go and put your name in the list. And we do it live. We do it on my channel, which is Over Animated. So, you know, twitch.tv/over_animated. But you can always catch it on the Agora.community live page. The live page usually should be showing you, out of all the affiliated people that have live streams, for instance, Sir Wade and the Pratt Brothers and many others have a presence there. So if they're streaming and you go to our live page, as a matter of fact, you'll notice the live icon at the top of the website actually becomes red, the little camera. That's an indication that somebody in our list is streaming, and you can always just go to the live page and see. And if it's not readily viewable, it's supposed to, but for some reason for me, it doesn't always show up right away. You might have to, if the icon is indeed red, someone's definitely streaming. Just check the banner and you can scroll through like it's like a carousel of different streams. You'll see that someone is live, and then just click on it. Sometimes it's be more than one person's live. And if that's the case, like, I think we randomly choose who is actually going to be up there. But so you might need to manually set it, but the point is you don't have to go searching around on Twitch if you don't want to. You will have access conveniently from our live page.
Yep. Now one thing.
So sign up.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say about that is, please don't make the links private. Because I don't think we can get access. There are a couple of those in this one.
Yeah. Okay.
Round, so
Sync sketch.
I couldn't log in.
is what we're using. So I should probably just be upfront and say that. So if you do sign up, you will need a SingSketch account, which is free. So the reason we're doing this is because it just streamlines the process for me, especially during the stream. It's just a bit less of a pain to have to go and, put it, launch software that I can actually draw over it. It's already there. I just have to have a bunch of tabs on my Chrome and I just go, and it's easy. So you make sure that you A, have an account, B, have uploaded your work to it, and C, make sure that it's like you have given access. You can share the review by making a link, which in the process of doing so, you're kind of making it kind of public, and anybody who has the link can access it. So that's what you want to do. So just check it out before you do. Otherwise, you may unfortunately not get considered just because we can't access it.
Yep. And tune into this one because I've seen
some good ones
that got drawn out, and there's some good ones in there.
Yeah. It's just like, it's fun because I'm trying to encourage people to put themselves out there, and I don't want, it always, who knows, maybe the how much we're asking for the reviews on the site maybe isn't in the cards for a lot of people, and I totally respect that. And so, I would also like to see us in the future find a way of doing, one of the things I really wanted to do is to kind of get in contact with people, like groups that are, that don't have access to this kind of education, and try to find a way of, bringing, like, somehow having Agora somehow sponsor a free like review session to like, a school in an impoverished area in the world or something like that. Like something fun that like can like literally get expert advice to people that would normally never see it where they live. These are kind of things that have always been on my mission list since the very, very beginning. Like, a friend of mine lives in South Africa, and she does a lot of this kind of stuff where she works with a lot of marginalized communities, and to try to in communities that are trying to learn how to be game developers, or communities that are trying to learn how to animate, but they don't have, like, they can't just go to animation school, and they may not have the money to go online. So where do they go? Where do they start? And so she's been building some really cool curriculum. So she's reached out to me recently, and we've talked a little bit about maybe doing something cool like that. So we'll see in the future. We'll see what the future holds, but basically accessibility has always been sort of one of the central pillars to the Agora community, and so we want to live up to that as much as possible.
Yep.
And this is one of the many ways. Yeah.
Beautiful.
You got nothing on your list, or are we done?
I'm done. So are there any questions?
Yeah, now's a good time for Q&A. If you guys have any questions about the development of the platform, if you have any questions about the updates tonight, if you have any big, huge suggestions that you want to shoot our way, like, I mean, I've been kind of following chat as we've been going through, but I didn't catch everything for sure. So
I like
if we did
a request for messy mocap, that's pretty cool. Did you see that one?
Yeah, requesting messy mocap to become available for contests or art tests for us to put into the reviews, so Mobu artists can have. So when you say messy mocap, what do you mean? If you're still there,
raw data.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But like, is it like uncleaned mocap data, raw data? Okay, but like it's tracked and cleaned though. Is that what you mean? Like, because it would be weird to unless that's the point. Oh, I get it.
Yeah, so they can clean it up.
Okay, so I get it. So you track it. Okay, yeah, that could be fun. So mocap's been on my list for a while, as those who have been part of my stream know. I've even done a bunch of streams dedicated to Motion Builder, and I'd like to do more. That my demo nights disappeared. I used to have a demo night on Fridays and then a review night on Sundays. It was with all the Agora stuff, I just wasn't able to keep up. So I'd like to get back to it eventually once we can figure out a way of doing that more regularly. But I want Motion Builder I'm a big fan of Motion Builder, and I think more people should learn it, and more people should also learn how to leverage motion capture data, because it could really speed up your workflow, even for keyframe animators. You'd be surprised what I could show you, and I could turn on a few light bulbs, I think, for many of you, if you could sort of see the way I use it. But yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. We've even talked a lot about one day trying to have a library of mocap data. We more and more of the Agora Studio members. I'm getting an XN suit soon, and so a few others will as well. I'd like to. It would be cool to start stockpiling an actual library of mocap data and give that, be able to give that, give people access to that. I think that would be really, really cool. Oh my God, did I miss the most miss most of the stream.
Yes.
Kind of, yes, but it's okay. You're in luck.
Yeah,
because we're going to be doing a quick recap at the end. So stick around and you'll see what you missed. And then if you want to see the rest of it, just go back and watch the stream. These streams are always, whenever we do a stream, you're always going to see them available on Twitch right away, typically. I think it takes a little longer sometimes for the YouTube ones and maybe the Facebook ones. I don't know how long it takes to become online. But Twitch, it's usually within like minutes of ending. It'll be right on our channel. Yeah, you'll have to go over to our actual channel. I think you can access it through our live page on Agora community as well. But you're best probably just going directly to Twitch and then you're browsing through all of the videos we have there. That's just good tip and advice for anybody who shows up late to a stream that looks awesome and you're mad at yourself for missing it. You could always just, go back and look at it later. But take heed, because those videos don't stick around on Twitch forever. But if we are supposed to put them on the library, but sometimes those things sometimes that takes a lot longer than it should. I'm sorry that's sometimes the case. We really have one main go-to editor. Scott's actually in the process of trying to solve this problem right now by bringing more editing person power onto the team so that we can actually get through things a little faster. But yeah, sometimes things take a little longer than they should sometimes. Yep. Okay, so I think we're going to do the rapid fire then, unless you guys have more thoughts or questions.
Put the stream recordings on in the background while put them on in the background while you animate. That's
always a good idea. Well, especially, or even you could even, if you're worried that you're going to get distracted, wait for the podcasts, and that will be that'll be even better, because then there's nothing, like, you just can listen. There's nothing else you can do. You can't be really. Yep. Although I have a hard time with that, because I have a hard time concentrating. If the content is really good, I get sucked right in, and I'm just like, and it's harder. But it's good. It's really good for if you're doing monotonous kind of tasks, and which we all have, right? Like, for instance, I do a lot of supervision work. And so there's a lot of often doing kind of almost producer-like work where you're kind of putting stuff into into tracking sort of documentation and like in software and that can take lots of time, and you don't need a full brain for it. You just have to get through it. And so that's the perfect time to do it. But the same thing for, like, you could be, searching for reference for your shot and listening to the podcast. That doesn't take all your brain power. But if I were animating and listening to something like that, oh man, there's no way. I really related to, like, when we were doing the 24-hour challenge, one of the biggest comments we got, which is really funny, which was there was some frustration because the content was so interesting to so many people that it was a detriment to their actual experience trying to animate during a jam, because it was just like, sorry guys, but like you're killing us. Like 24 hours we got to get this thing done, and then you fill that 24 hours with stuff that we can't not look at. Like it's sick. It's devious. Cruel. Yeah, it is. We didn't really fully think that one through. I think the next time we're going to try to find a way of maybe not during a 24-hour challenge, or if we do, maybe it peppered out a little bit more so that people had some actual breaks from the content. I don't know, but it was sort of like a bittersweet. Like, people were like, they were loving it, but that was the problem, is that they were loving it too much, and then the challenge itself suffered. But okay, so let's do that. That's part of the challenge. Exactly. You had to survive through the distractions. Exactly. Yeah. Welcome to production. We're just preparing you for the distractions of. Oh yeah. Okay, so here's the list. So if you're tuning in now, or you may be watching this on social media, we want to do condensed versions of the things we covered. So we're just going to go through the rapid fire version of all the things we brought up that are notable things that are going on in the community, notable features and changes that are to the platform and the service. So let's go through it. I'll call them out, and then Scott and I'll talk quickly about them, and we'll go to the next one until we get to the end of the list, and then we're going to finish the stream. Sounds good. At the top of the list tonight, we talked about podcasts. So Scott is in the process of bringing the Agora experience to podcasts. Want to talk about that really quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be taking our longer form conversations that we have during the week with industry pros and cutting it into a podcast form, and also reducing kind of the content of the day clips that we have. We're going to be putting those out there on the podcast as well. So no matter where you are, if you're on the bus, if you're traveling to work, you got a bit of a commute, which in this day and age, actually, it's a lot of work from home. Yeah. So but it'll be there for you.
I wonder how much podcasts suffered because of that, with a lot less commuting, because commuting and podcasts just kind of go hand in hand. Okay, so there'll be more news on this as that launches. Obviously, just check the social pages for updates. But tune in soon, because that's happening, and I'm pretty excited about that. Next on the list was Anim Bingo. So it was a bit of an apology / announcement, and that is that we are officially trying to bring back Anim Bingo. We're going to look for new ways of bringing it back so we can continue to have fun with the community while we talk about what we love most, which is animation. And in celebration of that, I'm going to live up to a promise finally and kick off the competition, or the contest, for the logo for the official first Anim Bingo t-shirts. And these are the prizes and the t-shirts and stickers are prizes that are meant to be sent out to the winners of the past bingos back in months ago now. So there is a form that I linked. I'll link it again right now, and you can fill it out. You can check social. We'll make sure this link gets out on social with a proper post, so you can go there. You can sign up anytime between now and like a couple weeks from now, and get your stuff to us. You just have to put your name, your email address, and your submission directly to the Google form, and then I'm going to bring those back when we close submissions, and we're going to take a vote. The community is going to vote on the favorite one, and that's what we're going to print. So we're going to print t-shirts and stickers based on the most the most loved logo that was submitted from this contest. Next on the list was TikTok. That was yours. So talk really quickly maybe about that one, TikTok.
It's happening next week. I'm going to start dropping some stuff. We did take some suggestions from our chat, but if anybody watching this after the fact has any ideas of what they want to see us do on TikTok, or things that they really like watching, then just let us know. You can send me a message on any of our socials or through the website.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of I think it's an important part of us moving forward, is trying to get more of that input. So we're putting the kind of content out there that you're looking for. So I think, look out for more opportunities and more ways of sharing your thoughts and ideas, because we're interested in hearing them. And in the meantime, use social channel posts to reply to. Scott's always watching those. You can message him directly. You can also send us emails. The link is on our Agora community site. So you can always use one of those means for now if you have ideas, things that you'd like to see. And that includes also features. If there's cool feature ideas and things that you'd like to see more of, then or for the first time, let us know. Then we have, I showed really quickly a new feature that dropped on the platform, although it was a little unsuccessful because apparently I don't know how to use my own features. If you take a look up in the library, if you hover over the library tab on the Agora community site, that's where you typically access all the different categories. You could also click on some tags and then surf the site using the tags. You can now type in an actual word or phrase. And now it's doing string searches. And once you get a search, and this works with both tags as well as the string search, you have the ability to then use filters, sort of like online shopping, where you want to narrow down the search a little bit. Then you have some tools at the very top of the page to be able to do that. So go take a look, let us know what you think, and look forward to more of these sort of searchability tools in the future. Next on the list was the wish list. That was yours.
My wish list. So I really want to look at, this is like way down in the future, just ideas that I've been having about the community and what we can offer is actually having a digital library of industry books, educational books, anything that's on a platform called openlibrary.org. I think you can go and check it out now and take a look, but it's really this online platform. It's a digital library where you can rent out books and read them, and they get returned after an hour. We can embed that stuff on our website. So I just think it would be great to collate like just educational material for everyone.
Totally. And we can reach out to you as a community and as well as our own professional network to try to kind of populate a list of like what we consider, mandatory reading, like make playlists of reading, I know whenever I talk to friends of mine that I know are really well read, I'm often asking them like, make me a list like of books that that I should be reading, that I'd be interested in. This is worth its weight in gold. Just having someone say, hey, these are the ones you should read. I've already read them, and don't waste your time with these ones, but these ones here are really, really good. So I'm excited by something like this, because I think that this could help a lot of people know where to start. Because we get this question all the time, right? Like what books would you recommend?
Yep.
So That's good. I mean, why in there? We could also start talking about like recommended apps, like little apps that help workflows. And what about software? What are recommended software? And of course, the always famous tips and tricks on different software is a thing that we want to do more of as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, cool. And wish list that also fits entirely with the idea of like, that's your wish list. Oh wait, you had more than one. You had two, didn't you?
Well, there are Alexa skills as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I love this idea.
Wake up in the morning.
Uh-oh.
Community content of the day, and it can run through like some audio for you. Yep.
We had a bit of a network blip there, but so you might want to say that one again really quick, just because people, unless it was just me, but I think it was probably not just me.
Probably my horrible Australian internet.
Right. So, or maybe the fact you're on the other side of the world.
Cans on the roof.
Yeah. How's that working out for you?
Yeah. Well, you just saw.
Apparently, not always well.
Alexa skills. Just something I've been looking into myself, and I thought it would be awesome to integrate this into Agora, so you can wake up in the morning. Hey Alexa, what's the Agora community, content of the day, and it'll give you what's going on. So
I love it. I think it's such a cool idea. Tip of the day, like the joke of the day or whatever, but like directly, like just a library of cool tips that just come directly to your ears just by shouting out into the openness into your house, and Alexa's hopefully listening. Okay, last on the list here, and then we'll finish up. It was just a quick announcement or reminder for those who might not know this, but we're now regularly doing free live reviews streaming on Sunday evenings at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. If you want to have your work reviewed, then put your name in the hat by filling out the form that Scott will always make available on Sunday evenings right after the actual stream, or often during the stream. And we close submissions off on Thursday at some point, and we pick 3 people randomly, and they are notified, and then that's who we review. The only thing you need to know is you have to fill out the form, first of all, and second of all, you need a SyncSketch account, because the SyncSketch account is necessary for that process, because we need a SyncSketch link for you to have your work reviewed. If you don't do that, then we're not going to look at it. So it's free.
Please make sure that it's set to public. No. If it's set to private, then we can't review it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's it in a nutshell. That was, I don't know how rapid fire that was. I didn't check the time, but I think it's not so bad. We'll get better at it. And it might be a little repetitive to people who are here. So if when on future streams like this, if you want to bail, we won't be upset. We won't be sad that you're leaving. But it's cool that you stuck around. That's pretty cool. So any last questions or thoughts or concerns or just shout outs that anybody wanted to make before we close off tonight's stream? It was 6 minutes. Oh man, that's so cool. Someone was 6 minutes is good. That's good. My review. Yeah, that's decent. I'd like it to be, but we could always probably edit it down too. Like it was, there's probably some fat in there as it usually is. I'm usually pretty chatty. That's the problem. So, it looks like there's nobody else. So that's good. Right. Thanks for being here for our first official live stream Agora update. We will be doing this. I'd like to think that we would do this. I think we were talking earlier about maybe doing this like once every other week. But if there's something notable that happens on any other week between, we will have one anyways. It'll just be like maybe a special announcement stream. But I think once every other week is probably pretty good. And also reasonable considering we have Q&A anyways. So like if something really pressing came up you wanted answers to, you could always come to our Q&A that happens every Tuesday. Is it 9 or 9:30? I always forget. I always have to look my Good thing you know. It's 9 o'clock Eastern Standard. 9:00 p.m. Is our Q&A. That's David and I. Usually Scott came to one not so long ago, and we're already currently planning at least one special guest, but we want more people to show up on those things as well, just to mix it up, have fun a little bit. Okay, well, enjoy the rest of your day / evening, depending on where you are in the world. Scott, of course, is going to be enjoying the rest of his day, where I'm entering the midnight hour pretty soon. So if you're like me, then good evening, and if you're like Scott, good day.
Good day.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Brent.
Everybody.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks for showing up, Scott. That was awesome.
No worries. See you soon.
See you, everybody.
Good.